All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Coffee and Conversions. I am your host, Mike Giovatto, Corporate Sales and Marketing Director at Focus USA. We are back in Studio G340, and I'm very excited to talk to you guys today about continuing our series with connected TV. Today, we're going to be talking lights, camera, action, all about creative and creative development with your content driven for connected TV. And just as a reminder to anybody that is not familiar with Coffee and Conversions, this is your virtual hangout with content provided for marketers by marketers. So guys, let's talk marketing. All right, I'm going to hand it over to my guest and co-host today to go ahead and do their own introductions. Jackie, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I'm excited to be back on episode 2
Yes.
with our special guests. So we're going to be talking about creative in the CTV worlds and how important creative is to drive campaigns and have a strong campaign, and kind of in the back end of insights and how we optimize our campaigns based on adjustments that we see from audience behavior on the creative side.
Awesome. And Jackie, can you just remind our guest who you are and what you do?
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
That would be the first one. Yes, I am the digital marketing director at Giovatto, and as I kind of mentioned, that I am the person that is in the back end of campaigns, your CTV campaigns, and driving the metrics.
Awesome. And Jason, welcome to the couch, my friend.
How's it going? I've never been in the hot seat before like this.
Yes,
so
here we go.
A little unnerving, but let's do this.
Let's do this. Jason, if you want to go ahead and do your intro.
Sure. My name is Jason Laychuk. I'm the creative director at Giovatto Advertising. I have almost close to 20 years creative experience with a strong background in creative writing, copywriting.
Awesome.
So,
all right. So, guys, we're going to dig into it today. I am a novice when it comes to this side of the connected TV and creative development space. So I am very excited that Jackie and Jason have decided to join me, yes, by force, on the couch today to come talk to you guys about the behind the scenes on what it takes to build creative and build strategic messaging for the connected TV channel specifically. So, couple of things. Jackie, how does creative content in CTV advertising differ from other advertising channels, and what unique challenges does it present?
There's a lot that goes into CTV. I think the most important part is to understand that it is connected TV, right? That is, you're on the big screen. You're not scrolling through your news feed on social media. So with the messaging, it comes with more of a laid back feel. People are just trying to relax after a long day. So that's where the messaging is. It's not a huge pop-up that's like, save $5,000 if you subscribe now. It's more of a storytelling, visuals. But with CTV too, there's a lot of different content that can be involved in your messaging. So today we see a lot of different creative in the CTV campaign. So it is a challenge when you don't know your audience and what message you want to drive to them, because that is where the creative is built upon.
well, of course, the benefit of CTV is that you do know your audience. So you can always tailor your messaging to your audience. And that should probably be one of the best practice, things that you do when you're building on a spot, is knowing your audience, knowing who you're hitting, knowing what drives them, knowing what you need to say to get the clicks and conversions that you're looking for. So that's definitely a benefit that you have compared to advertising on cable, when it's more just like a hand grenade just thrown out into the world and hoping that you catch the right person at the right time. You're more of a captive, personalized audience with CTV, and the creative should always reflect that.
You guys are talking my language, audience, data, segmentation, and applying that to creative. This is why we love you guys. But I think there's a lot of things that I see on my end, right? Because when people start out with campaigns with me, it's, okay, let's talk strategy, let's talk audience, let's really dig deep. We turn that over to you guys and you guys make the magic, which is wonderful. But what are some do's and don'ts, or things that we should probably really take into consideration during the planning, strategy, messaging phase before they're like, okay, go shoot the video. I need the script. What's going on? What are some things that we need to plan for ahead of that?
Well, thankfully, me and Jackie sit one thin wall between us, between our two offices, so we can literally just shout to each other to coordinate
Yeah.
all the do's and don'ts, so to speak.
Meg's on the phone again.
Just banging like noisy neighbors.
Jason will hear me and you talk, and then he's already writing it down.
I'm already on it. But yeah, like we said before, it definitely does require thought. It does require planning, and it does require communication between the different departments. And so that's one of the benefits that Giovatto Agency has, is that, we have this all in house. We have a creative department, we have a digital department, and once again, they sit one thin wall between each other.
Yeah.
So open lines of communication, where creative is always part of the planning from the beginning with digital. It's not like it's a surprise down the line when you're going to a boutique agency or an agency that just handles creative, where they're just getting the message through the audience third, fourth hand. It's a calculated, strategic planning from day one.
Yeah. And I think the channels, right? Just having those open communication, your thin wall between you guys, but also I think that's a really good point about doing it all in house, right? And knowing that everything's built and can be changed quickly and evolve quickly. Is that something that needs to be kept in mind with connected TV as it continues to evolve? One creative, one message. If you have like segmentation with multiple audiences, right? Running with connected TV, which is quick tip, what you're supposed to do. How do people keep up with that?
So I think too, a lot of people have that untouched yet, right? So the capabilities of CTV, you start with your audience that you want to be in market. You have that message that's going to resonate with them. But as it goes down, I want to say the funnel, right? So now we could target first party data.
Yeah.
We could target people in specific geo with a specific message. So with that, you can have multiple different creatives, and we're just talking video right now. So it's not even the interactive that we can provide too. It's just video messaging. So with that and the audience segmentation and working down the funnel, Jason and I can say, all right, you know what? We started this campaign. I'm looking at the audience insights because we do have that capability on CTV. Let's change up the messaging. Like we'll have a brainstorming session of, all right, let's try this now because this is what we're seeing with the audience.
A/B testing is very, very effective, and it's very, very important to do as well. It's your message that you launch with may not be always the best message on target. So the ability to be able to quickly look at the data, look at the results, look at the numbers, and see how to creatively alter it to get better conversions, to get better clicks is paramount. You definitely have to do that. You can't just, it's not one and done.
Yeah.
CTV is never one and done. You can't just pick an audience. You can't just pick a creative. You can't just launch it into the world and
white knuckling.
No, it does take, it takes strategy, it takes analyzing, and it takes altering,
Yeah. And I think that's why like our agency does it so well, because we have it, we work side by side. We see something right away, and I'll go knocking. Hey, Jason.
And she does.
Come on.
And she does.
I'm moving into the office next door to them. So we data, creative,
The
strategy,
trio.
all in one place. No, that's great. So questions that I've been asked by our audience and also by clients in the past, and I'm sure you guys have come up against this as well. I have this linear TV spot. Can I just use the same creative on my connected TV? How do you guys answer that?
No.
Short and sweet. We got it covered.
But why would you? Why would you is the question.
Yeah.
Why would you? Linear TV, like as we discussed before, is broad. It's general, it's broad. And why would you launch with a broad message to a specific audience when you have the ability to target and target the messaging?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that. So don't do that, clients.
I agree. Unless you're just targeting geo, which why would you do that if you have the capabilities in front of you?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of it. It's like you've opened this big box of like all of these cool things. Why are you going to use
Do
like
the minimum?
Exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, I think I've heard the same thing when people saying, oh, well, we're running video ads So can I just use my 15, 30-second video spots? Well, no, it's not the same channel.
Right.
It's not the same channel at all. So you have to treat it with the respect that it deserves.
And also, I understand there's budgetary concerns too.
Yes.
If a client, puts a big part of their budget into a video production that they really, really like, they may want to run that because that's all the budget they have. But, in today's, creative space, video is not as expensive as it was 10, 15 years ago. There are definitely low-cost ways and effective ways to get your messaging out there without the whole, 10, 15, 20, 30, $40,000 productions, which, linear TV sometimes gets to, especially in the markets we are. I know the bigger Super Bowl commercials go into millions too.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a separate thing.
That's another session, guys. Well, I think for me, it comes back to the planning, right? When we're doing your audience strategy, when we're doing your media planning, when we're doing that customer journey mapping, if connected TV is part of your plan, before you go to start writing your scripts for any of your video, then you're just doing, you just plan for it. And then that's going to save you money versus having to do reshoots and things like that, right? So call us. We'll give you some advice on that.
We'll give you a great strategy.
Exactly. Now, speaking of, can you share any examples of connected TV ads that have successfully stood out in the crowded advertising landscape? And what elements do you guys think made them the most effective?
I know big brands. You want me to start with big brands? I know he's going straight to clients.
Oh, okay. No. I'm thinking anything that you've seen, and feel free to leave comments on what you guys think as well. But
so one would be the QR code that we can implement on your creative, but it was Coinbase on the Super Bowl, and it just had that as the message. And obviously, humans being curious, what is this? Who is this?
I think you have to be living under a rock not to know what a QR code is, though.
Well, the message. What is it? Yeah. So people scan the QR code, and it got to the point there were so many scans that it crashed the website. So,
well, I forget. It was just a QR code on the screen, or was it bouncing?
It was bouncing
with no copy, no rhyme or reason, just up there.
Yeah.
People are curious creatures, of course.
You play to the psychology of it,
right? And to the psychology point, I think Nike does it the best with their content creation, how they speak to people, whether it is athletes and stories of athletes and their struggles, or even regular people, their struggles daily and what they go through. And they have great storytelling and really hone in on the average person of buy my stuff. But, they get their message across.
Nice.
I feel in general, there's creative, and there's effective creative. And those two things are not always one and the same. You can have the most creative, out of the box spot in the world, but if it doesn't resonate with customers with a strong call to action or a strong, tactic for conversion, it's ineffective. And I keep going back to, again, I'm up there in age, but remember in the 90s, all those old Calvin Klein commercials of just black and white and people walking on cliffs and waves crashing. It's for perfume. But was it effective? It's memorable, but was it effective? It's highly creative, but was it effective? Was it, driving sales? Was it driving people to go to your website? Was it driving people? Was it driving people for conversions? That's
the biggest thing too with CTV. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole.
Let's do it. Everybody buckle in.
So it goes into the targeting aspect of it, right? So you're saying, this doesn't relate. Well, the important part of this audience is that we can play it on a specific show, right? Your spot is relatable. You don't want to see something like happy, jolly on, I'm going to say Game of Thrones, right?
Yes.
You don't want to see something, maybe it's a little more dark, it's a little more sad, but you don't want this happy, jolly music, and then it goes right into Game of Thrones.
Well, it's about knowing your audience too. So you're
but the spot can play on that.
If you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
100%.
So right to your point of, okay, my audience is definitely going to be watching Game of Thrones. Well, then that goes back to your creative spot.
Of course. And I know we're just focused on CTV, but the beauty of it is you can always follow up with the same creative in other avenues. So if they see a particular face, if they see a particular campaign on their CTV, then they go to their computer and they see a display banner with the married creative. I just think that's effective now, because now they saw it on the CTV, they're familiar with the concept, they're familiar with the client, they're familiar with the product, and now they're seeing it again, which also increases the ability to, the likelihood to click.
Totally. I mean, it's the nurture approach, right? You're nurturing, you're bringing that brand awareness around again. So I think there's, shout out to Rachel Durkin over at Paradigm Marketing and Design. She has a whole thing that says you need between 9 and 13 touches before anybody even remembers you. Yeah. So if you're talking about one of the biggest screens in your home, where you're bringing in that nostalgia, where you're bringing in the messaging, where you're bringing in something that's supposed to be as memorable as possible, that doesn't necessarily mean someone's going to pick up their phone and research you right then and there. You have to be able to reinforce that. But including connected TV in those omni-channel strategies is a big driver in getting other channels engagement lifted, right?
And of course, you always strengthen your message. Top of the funnel, more broad. As you drill down, you can get more targeted, more aggressive, more last chance, click now type messaging, which also is very effective.
Yes, until we have, the push notification going on to your smartwatch saying, connected TV ad is getting ready to pop up on your screen now.
Oh my gosh.
Not yet, guys. Not yet, guys. We're getting there, though. That's funny. I think for me, I've always been fascinated because this is not my realm, like the behind the scenes and the camera. What is the most memorable campaign that you guys can think of right now? Because you mentioned QR code, and that's just bringing me back to last Christmas when Hyundai did their big campaign with the QR code. And it was the first time I've seen a QR code on the screen. Yeah. Maybe it was Volvo. I'll fact check us on that. But I mean, things like that to make your stuff more memorable in that creative zone. What do you got? Do you have any advice?
Not really advice, because it goes back to trial and error, knowing your audience, what part of the funnel are you capturing them in, and you go from there. You adjust your creative based on that. I mean, an example, there's a bunch, but I'm thinking of another one just based on a different type of format that CTV allows, is the Apple TV. Plus, on the Snoopy show, Hulu did one of an interactive Snoopy ad, and it engaged everybody to have a different storyline. So that to me
is such a video game thing, right? It's such an experiential.
Right. But there's also the compelling of the story. You think about all the different creatives that you've watched, but it depends on what part of the funnel you're capturing in and where your message is.
What are the different types? Because you've mentioned interactive a couple of times. So what are the categories, right? So there's interactive, there's brand, there's what?
Right. So interactive, brand, it would be the 30 or 15 second spot. You have the shoppable or the QR codes that you can put in there. But I like the interactive. I think that's still that's so new that people haven't really touched upon yet, where it would be that mid funnel, right? So you have your brand on your spot, getting your message across, and then the interactive's all right, this person's been to my site a couple of times. They know me, they know what we are, they're obviously looking. Let's make it more engaging
and more personalized, right? It's the only thing that you can do from awareness to personalization. It's the only channel out there right now that's able to do that. So you sent me some fun research stats, because this is Jackie, guys. Jackie is, if anything, she's prepared. So you said a separate analysis by Integral Ad Science found that ads that match the context of the content being viewed on CTV had a 39% higher brand impact. What does that mean?
That's what I just talked about.
I know, but explain more.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Just rewind the podcast 2 minutes and watch that one again.
So that to my point of the messaging, knowing your audience and because we have the capabilities, which is so cool.
Yes.
Putting your spot on a CTV show that is relatable.
Yeah.
To that audience, to that show, where it's going to get more people to remember it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, real quick to chime in. Messaging wise, though, I feel the most effective creative spots are the most simple messaging. One message. I know when people get the opportunity, they like to throw the kitchen sink into their spots. They like to throw every message. We do A, B, C, D, and E, F, G. And I may not be CTV, but some of the most effective spots I ever throw are the Geico ones. 15% saves you, 15 minutes saves you 15% more. They drove
Everyone
that
knows
home
that.
for years,
Yeah.
and that's just one single message wrapped in one single spot.
Yeah.
And I think those tend to stand out more than the general messaging that have multiple messages, multiple
They're
hooks.
trying to throw so many
You
in.
throw them in, and then, you know, if everyone's yelling at the same time, you don't listen to anything. If it's just one straight message, one strong, centralized hook that just keeps getting hit over and over and over again, that creates memorability,
Yeah.
which...
You know what's funny is I just had a thought because like B2B marketers are jumping into CTV like with both feet. You know why? Because people are working from hybrid and people are working from home and like all of these things. Being able to see people across their devices and on the big screen at home with relevant content, right? I mean, we're seeing spots for Paychex, Salesforce, like everything.
Yeah.
But like, what are the you mentioned like the simple messaging. You could have and I think B2B marketers are probably the biggest offenders here, at least that I've seen, in terms of trying to throw the kitchen sink at you, right?
Yes.
We can do all of these things and that's awesome. But maybe your audience that you need to segment, maybe this is the best product for this audience. This is the best product for
So
this
that's
audience.
why it's so cool, because Giovatto can help you with that. We'll sit down, we'll brainstorm, and we'll get you to, you know, who are you really? Like, let's get to the pain points of what you're working with and who you're trying to, you know, get in front of. Because it's not that many. It's not the kitchen sink.
Right.
And again, to your B2B customers, they may offer many different solutions, but their different audiences would be preferable for each solution. So what we can do is we can always customize creative, knowing that, oh, you have this solution, we can match that to this audience and make a spot that just highlights that one feature that only that audience would resonate with.
Yeah.
And then you have another benefit or another product to sell. Here is another audience that would match perfectly that. So you can definitely segment it out creatively speaking as well.
I think that also speaks to another reason, if you're going in with that strategy and you're really trying to do personalized creative and you're doing personalized messaging to your specific audiences and you're doing it across this media platform, I think it's also really important that you're using the same production company across all of those spots to make sure that that brand message stays consistent. I feel like I have seen people that have jumped around to different creative, you know, things. Like, well, we have the brand guidelines. We gave everybody the same brand guidelines. But
if you take a creative person and give them a brand guideline, you know how many different concepts will come up.
Yeah.
Well, we always follow brand guidelines to a T. We never vary off. If we get that book is the Bible, and that's what you follow.
Yeah.
But yes, there's a lot of interpretation in creative. What I might interpret as a way to deliver a message, another agency, another person might think of a different way to target the message. And if you have a different agency working on it and a different media buyer or a different CTV buyer, it may not mesh as well as all in-house all together.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why I think it's important to have it all come from the same strategy, all under one roof, which is something that you guys provide, which is awesome. But I want to go back to like the different types of spots, right? Because again, I have more stats from Jackie. We're going to have a whole segment like, you know, fun facts by Jackie.
Stats by Jackie.
Stats by Jackie. And you know how much I love data. So let's do this. So we talked about like the branded ads, right? With being on relevant content and, you know, the Game of Thrones, right? The right content. You also said interactive was another one of your favorite types of ads. And right here you said interactive ad creative is 42% is the recipe for the second most cited format in their list in 2023. So that's the second most used type of ad right now. That's basically how I'm interpreting that.
Yeah. So that just goes back to getting in front of the people. Okay, yeah, you have a strong message in the top. Now, let's go down. We could still target them. We look at the audience behavior in the back end. I have all the insights.
Yeah.
So now
We know what you're doing.
don't creep them out.
Clear those browsers, people.
But we know the audience segments to break it down. Okay, who do we need to get in front of to have that interactive ad to be more engaged and get them back to the site to possibly convert? And I mean, interactive ads can be a million things. Like I mentioned the storyline, but it also, a lot of automotive, they're doing lookarounds, like vehicle lookarounds. So say someone's on the site they come in from a spot, right? And they go to a vehicle that they like. Well, now we could serve up that vehicle a look around.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then give them a QR code to say where their closest dealer is that has the car that they just built, right? Because another
There's
Jackie
our
stat,
campaign.
shoppable video via QR codes came in third place at 34%, with the selection tools that allow the viewer to pick the ad they want to watch. That one's not far behind at 27%.
Right.
So to me, this is this is to me data collection heaven, right? Because you're collecting all of this zero-party data from how people are actually responding and engaging with your ads in a way that, I'm sorry, folks, it's not really available on linear. So,
well, to the point too we were talking about before we actually went live on the QR codes, you have to have a strategic way of doing it.
correct.
You can't overwhelm them with a kitchen sink.
Yeah.
The kitchen sink again.
Unless you're selling kitchen sinks. In which case, by all means, put the kitchen sink in the spot. That's Creative 101. Show the product.
So we have stats by Jackie and we have one-liners by Jason.
That's what I do. I'm a copywriter at heart, so I speak in headlines.
Awesome.
Awesome. 11 words on a billboard. That's all you can put on.
Oh, man. Guys, this has been a lot of fun. I do have a couple more questions for you, though. What strategies or tools are available to segment and personalize creative content for different CTV audiences and their segments, ensuring a more tailored viewer experience?
Where do I start?
I mean, there's so many. So give me your top 3.
On targeting?
Focus USA.
Yes, I would say. Well, list. We love first party lists.
Yes.
But data, geography is another one. And being able to, again, it goes on to the inventory.
Yeah.
We can select the inventory just based on your audience segments and even the brand. What brand, because it is relatable, right? What brand, what does the brand want to be on? What show? And that's kind of where we go from there. But then again, we have the insights.
Yeah.
We can see what's working and not and adjust it in real time.
A client might feel like they know their customers, and that's always an excellent starting point. But what Jackie can do is drill down even further and really get to know who is interacting with them, who is looking for them based on their behavior and demographics and all that fun stuff.
And then she's like, Jason, we need another spot.
Yes, another spot. We need another spot, another spot. Keeping me busy. But we love it. We love it here. We love it here. There's nothing else we'd rather be doing.
Awesome. So with the growth of CTV platforms and the apps, how can advertisers harness first-party data and audience analytics to create more compelling and personalized TV experience? Guys, I think I'm going to take this one.
Love this question, but go for it.
So,
would you like me to ask a question to you? Do you payback?
So the questions around first-party data in connected TV or any digital realm, right? We work with a lot of clients in finance, in healthcare, things that have very, very, very strict rules in regards to how they use their first-party data. So being like a HIPAA compliant, GLB compliant company, data is the world we grew up in, right? So when you're talking about using first-party data in connected TV, if that's done with a HIPAA compliant company, it's gone through a clean room, then all of the PII by the time before it even touches a platform is completely stripped away. and then we match it back for you at the end. So when it comes to like first party data, there's definitely ways to protect that, because first party data to me is one of your most valuable assets at any company. It's where we're going to be doing a lot of your predictive modeling. It's where we're going to be doing all of your profile analysis. It's the heart of who your customers are. And that's how we segment also however many different types of customers you have based on what they use, what they buy, the frequency of buy, whatever that is. But there are definitely ways to protect your data before it and still use it in this environment. You just have to work with partners that know what they're doing. But Jackie, go ahead.
You answered that perfectly. That's why we work so closely with Focus to get all of our data from. But again, it goes back to that, what we talked about, the top of the funnel, the mid funnel, and now we're at the bottom, right? We have people that have converted, we have their data, and now we could target them to get them to come back.
Yeah.
Depending what it is, but like more times than not, we want our customers to come back. Our clients want our customers to come back. So we can use that and target them with a strong message.
Yeah. Or like the upsell, right? Like getting like that, continuing that, because it doesn't just end after a conversion, right? Coffee and conversions, but you want more and more of those conversions. So I think that just makes it a more valuable tool. It's just you're creating more valuable data sets at the end of the day.
Yep.
For more work for Jason.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we love.
Yeah.
It's thin walls. Need a new spot.
Guys, I appreciate your time today. This has been so much fun. Next time we're going to be back with audience questions. We do have 2 more sessions coming up for the CTV Unplugged series. The next one's going to be me and Jackie talking about the science behind connected TV. And then we're going to be back live in January, where we're bringing back Andrew Barbuto from Basis Technologies. And we're going to be talking about future trends and what to look forward to in 2024. Guys, do you have any other closing comments?
No, this is great, but we're going to continue going.
Yeah, no, this is awesome, guys. Well, thank you guys so much. Guys, the next session, keep an eye out. Jackie's going to be in the host seat. I will be on the couch. We're going to do a role reversal, but we look forward to seeing you all there. Thanks again, and #Let's Talk Marketing.